Good morning and welcome to the show. This is In Touch, and I am Beth Christie, your hostess. In Touch is our half-hour public affairs show where we get to talk about events that are going on throughout the Hudson Valley and Sullivan County and Orange County. We invite nonprofit organizations to come on the show to talk about what is important to them, what issues they are concerned about here in the Hudson Valley. And if you're a company helping out a nonprofit, we also would love to have you on the show along with a nonprofit because, you know, a lot of times there's some amazing partnerships going on in the Hudson Valley. So let me turn the microphone on and say that this is pre-recorded. If there's any websites, if there's any phone numbers, if there's anything like that, don't worry. On whatever station you're listening to this morning, on the website, you can get a repeat of this show along with an article where we will have all that information. Andy Imparati is here, who is the president and CEO of the Dutchess County Agricultural Society. Andy, it's very nice to see you again. It's been a while, so it's nice to lay eyes on you once again. Good morning.
Thank you, Beth. It's nice to be here.
Good morning. Good morning. So next week, as hard as this is to believe, this summer, I know we say this, but I feel like this summer went by quicker than any in recent memory.
It definitely seems that way.
Because the Dutchess County Fair is next week.
Yes.
Starting Tuesday.
Yep.
Going through Sunday. Now, what year of this? This is the
73rd.
73rd.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're all excited about it. You know, I think the excitement begins when some of the entertainment is announced.
Yes.
People get very excited, like, okay, who's going to be there? Everybody starts calling everybody. Let's get our tickets. Let's make sure we don't miss it. But the fair also, you know, my husband took our grandson there last year. It was his first time at the fair. And it's always amazing to see it through a little person's eyes.
Yes, absolutely. The fair is a lot about family traditions.
Yeah.
And so I believe that means you just started a new one.
Yeah, I think we did. My husband said that his eyes couldn't take everything in. There was so much. And that he asked Grandpa, how does everybody do this in one day? And he said, well, normally they don't.
Yes. We are quite fortunate that our facility is rather large, and there's plenty to see. And there's lots of free entertainment during the day for people to enjoy, as well as the paid entertainment at the grandstand. So you can do it in one day if you want to pare down your schedule, but ultimately there's a lot to see.
There is a lot to see. You know, you talk about the facility. You also talked about, you know, a family tradition, and it is. And we did just start one. And I remember my husband almost tearing up a little bit when he came home because he had taken his daughter there, you know, and so you are continuing that. So there's an amazing history with the Dutchess County Fair. I mean, when you're there, you feel it.
Yep.
If you look around, you can see it. Mm-hmm. But sometimes, like most of us, whatever's in our backyard, you kind of need a little reminder. And then you go, oh, wait. So let's talk about the history of the fair.
Well, the first fair in Dutchess County happened in 1845, and it took place in Washington Hollow, where today Troop K's barracks sits.
Oh, okay.
And we bounced around back and forth between there and the Vassar Driving Park in Poughkeepsie until 1919, when we moved to Rhinebeck. The war had happened, the First World War, and the fair didn't happen in 17 or 18. And because of that, they had no money to pay their bills, and they basically folded up the tent. And Rhinebeck, looking for, at that point, from what I'm told that people know, was looking for something to bring people to the northern part of the county. And they approached the directors at that time and the fathers of the society and asked them if they would consider moving to the driving park, where there was a racetrack for horses. And with really no other options, they said yes, and they moved to Rhinebeck. And so next year, 2019, will be 100 years in Rhinebeck.
Wow. I love that. A couple of different anniversary and things.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's
a
year
lot going on.
My goodness.
Yep.
Are you guys going to, I'm asking, I'm jumping ahead, but are you guys going to have some special contests and some special things with some of the exhibits and things that are going on for next year?
We will start talking about that in September after this one closes.
I knew I was jumping. I knew.
We have talked about it because we know what's coming. Next year is the 100th in Rhinebeck, but the year after that is our 175th in the year 2020. So we've got a couple anniversaries coming back to back here that we're trying to figure out now how we will address those. But yes, there will be something special going on.
I'm all about a theme, okay? I'm all about a theme.
Yep.
You know, I think that comes from my sewing and quilting background. I'm all about a theme. Yep. I think that's what it is. So let me back and get us to this year's fair. In terms of the history and the family traditions, you see it, right? I mean, year after year, there are families that come back. There are grandparents and parents and children and the memories. What do you think, what are some of the things that people say to you or the things that they love the most about the fair? Because we all have our own.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of wondering.
And it depends. For some people, it's about a certain food. For some people, it's about a certain display that's every year. While it can be the wildlife exhibit from the gun club, it can be the baby pigs in the birthing center or a calf that's being born. For every family, it's a little different. And I think that's what makes it so unique. And then there's the milkshake line. I mean, good Lord. Some people line up at the gate at 10 a.m. waiting for us to open. And that's the first stop, a milkshake for breakfast. And, you know, God bless you, you're supporting the dairy industry, and I'm all for that.
Right.
Our roots are agriculture, and that's why we are there. So it's very fun to see all of that happen, and people enjoy whatever part of the fair is theirs. And, you know, it's amazing to me. You'll see families come through the gate with a list. And they have pre-planned everything they are going to do that day in the order they're going to do them. And they must, I guess, they sit home and do that the day before they come to the fair.
Wow.
So it's 6 days for us that work it of watching families repeat a piece of their tradition for their family's tradition. You know, there's a certain time of day they do this. There's a certain thing that they're going to see at a certain time, and that's really fun for us to watch. The excitement on the people's faces. That's what we're there for.
You know, when I moved here, I moved to the Hudson Valley in '94. So went to my first Dutchess County Fair. And I had been at county fairs before. I grew up outside of Pittsburgh. Nothing against them, but they're not like the Dutchess County Fair. And I remember I loved walking through the horticultural exhibits. I loved the fact that there were people competing with vegetables and flowers and baked goods. Like, that just spoke to me. And you couldn't get me out of those buildings. Then, of course, I'm always heading over to the needlework, right? I'm always there. I'm looking at the stuff that the kids do. You know, what are, you know, the photographs and the drawing, and what are they doing and what are they creating? And I love it. And I was so impressed. I remember that first year just going, now this is a fair. Like, in your mind, when you see pictures, when you read books, when, like, you know, I've read Laura Ingalls Wilder, like, I don't know how many times and all these. And this fair was exactly what I thought whenever I read about a county fair. And Charlotte's Web.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, this was it. Like, it was like, how did someone take it from my imagination and make it real? That's what it felt like.
We are very fortunate that the guys that came before me and ran the fair had a vision. They knew what they wanted to create, and we were fortunate that they hit the nail on the head. We have a lot of things that people want to recreate and for some reason just can't get the job done. And I think you also have to remember that the backbone of a county fair is the agriculture and those items that you have mentioned. That's what people got together and did. There wasn't a carnival at the fair when they started. It was about farmers and families, because it was very rural life in the country at that point. It was their way of getting together for a big gathering of friends and family. And my pumpkin is bigger than your pumpkin, or my tomato plant is nicer than yours. And that's how it all started.
Right.
Between that stuff and the prize cow and the bull and the horses, they came together and did that for 2 or 3 days. And as it evolved into what we have today, it's a total entertainment production. There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
The food, the smells, the noises, the rides, the whole thing comes together to create a truly unique entertainment, because you can put a carnival in any mall parking lot.
Yeah.
But it's not a fair.
Right. I agree.
Because there's no agriculture with it. Because truly a fair is about agriculture first, and everything else is an add-on.
And now, if you look at, you said the history, they started by getting together in a rural community to show, like, mine is bigger than yours. Yeah. She's got the best pumpkin pie. I mean, when I was growing up, I remember women that hung out with my grandmother bragging that they had gotten the blue ribbon.
Yep.
Like, that was the thing. Like, it was not Mary's pie. It was Mary's blue ribbon pie.
Absolutely.
That title all went together.
Yes, it did.
I thought maybe that was the name of the recipe. Like, when I was little, I had to figure that out. But now it seems that you guys are not only allowing and having a place for people who love that history and tradition, but you're also introducing children and families who may not know where their food comes from.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's powerful, too.
It is amazing to us who live it every day. I grew up on a farm, so I know what agriculture is, but it's amazing to me how many children
don't.
They think it just appears on the shelf in the grocery store. Somebody grew that and took the time to do it for you to consume. And so we started 2 years ago, we started a new pilot program on the infield in a tent called Agri Venture. And it's geared towards children 3 to 8 years old, I would say. And it's an exhibit where kids can go in with their mother and father along with them, and we have 4-Hers and FFA kids that help walk them through this exhibit and explain to them all the pieces. But they can dig out of a sandbox carrots, potatoes. They can pick apples off of a tree.
Oh, cool.
They can get eggs out of a hen's nesting box. They can pick. Now, naturally, all of these things are not real at this point. They're faux.
Right.
But they gather all of these in their basket, and they make their rounds through the exhibit. And at a certain point in the exhibit, they can sell to the grocer or the purveyor their products, and they get fair money. And they walk through the end, and at the end, with their fair money, they can get an apple. They can get something related to all of that. And it's a learning experience for them to understand. I can't tell you how many kids don't know that carrots and potatoes are root vegetables.
Right.
And they grow in the ground. So we're doing our part to help them understand that a farmer had to do that, and this is how he does it. And this is how you harvest it, and then this is how it gets to the grocery store so mommy and daddy can buy it and cook it for you to eat.
Right.
We will, in that tent this year, so we've expanded it by almost triple.
Wow.
It went from a 20 by 60 tent last year. It's in a 66 by 82 tent this year. So it's very large. We've incorporated a lot more things. There will be a butterfly display this year for kids to understand the importance of what butterflies do as pollinators. There's a honeybee display so that people can understand what a honeybee does, because without them,
we're in trouble.
We don't eat.
Right.
There's a field crops display. There's all kinds of things. All of our vegetables and field crops have been moved into part of this so people can see the real thing and see them judged and see the blue ribbon tomato and squash and all of that stuff in that exhibit as well. So we're very excited about that.
That's funny you mentioned the butterflies and the honeybees. Our grandson stayed over this weekend, and I forget what show was on, and they asked about butterflies, and then they wanted to know about bees and aren't they scary and shouldn't they all go away? And I went, no. We don't want them to go away. So my skills and knowledge on that area. I'm certainly not an expert, but I love the fact that it's there. So I'll have to tell my husband to make sure that you head in there, because there will be people who know a lot more than me and who can explain it better than I did, so they can see that. But we just talked about that this weekend. How great is that?
It's part of our mission.
Yeah.
The Society's mission is to promote agriculture and educate about agriculture. And that goes a long ways towards our mission, along with Livestock Hill and things that happen there, and the birthing center, which I think we're more than 10 years now. People just love to see those babies be born during the day. If we can get the mothers to cooperate, that's always I think I got a better shot of winning the lottery than I got picking that, but oh well.
Yes, but whenever that announcement goes across the fairgrounds, you see what that does to people.
Oh, yeah. A dead run.
Oh, boy, you ain't kidding. Yes. Do not get in their way.
Yes, they are on a mission to go see it.
That's exactly right. That's how you know you got it.
So we were just talking this morning about prospective moms that are coming to the fair to be in the birthing center. So we have hopefully everybody stays to their due date, doesn't go early.
Please cooperate with us. Thank you.
So we'll have a nice display of moms, hopefully in the birthing center.
Nice.
And there'll be a sow and her baby litter, piglets will be in the tent as well, and some baby goats. There'll be some horses in there this year, so we got a full house.
Wow, goodness. Now, of course, like you said, the carnival part of it was not added until later, but for many families, that's also a big part of it. You see the animals, you get your milkshake, you take a look, there's all kinds of vendors and all kinds of folks there, and then there's the rides, and then there's the food and entertainment. Yep. So let's talk about that for this year.
All right. So we have two kinds of entertainment in my mind. We have paid entertainment, which happens at the grandstand Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then we have free entertainment that happens throughout the grounds on a regular basis throughout each day of the fair. And if you have never seen Hilby, the juggler, you have missed one of the best performers I have ever seen in my life at a fair. We built a stage last year as part of the new Welcome Center down at the front gate. And it's in the shade, which has helped him considerably because Hilby was performing in the sun most of the time, and it gets quite hot. So he does his thing down behind the Welcome Center every day at 2, 4, and 6 p.m. And I encourage everybody to check him out because you will go away with a smile on your face.
Yep.
Oscar the Robot is a big hit for the kids.
Yeah. Yes.
The kids absolutely love him, and he's with us again.
That's fun.
There's a bunch of stuff. We have a guy coming this year. His name is Craig Cargas, and he's a mentalist. He will perform. He will perform in the talent tent for us evenings. On Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I believe it is. Yes, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. I saw Craig in Pennsylvania about 2 years ago, and he made the hair in the back of my neck stand up. He is that good.
Wow.
And my staff have not seen him yet, and they cannot wait. They cannot wait. He is definitely quite an entertainer.
Wow, that's cool.
I don't know how they do it, but he's awesome.
Very cool. Awesome. You know you've got it when your staff is like, when do we get to see them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can we see them? Do they get like a pre-show? Can they something like that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So they're all asking what night they're going to be able to get to go see him. So I got to figure that out for those
the
folks.
schedule you got to figure out. Yeah, because they can't all be like poof.
No, no, it's going to have to be split shifts when he's there. So they'll get to go see him.
I love that.
So there's much of that stuff. There's the train station that we moved 3 years ago now to the fairgrounds from Pleasant Valley for people to enjoy another piece of history from Dutchess County that we refurbished and brought back to life. There's the one-room schoolhouse that was in Mount Ross all those years that we maintain for people to see. The Antique Museum Village with all the antique equipment and the broom making and the general store and all that stuff. It's rural life from the late 1800s, and I mean, I think it shows a lot about where we've come from to where we are today. Mm-hmm. It's amazing when you stop and think about how they cut ice from the Hudson River every winter and put it in ice houses to have it for the summer. Mm-hmm. I don't, everybody now goes over to the refrigerator, pushes the button on the door, and they got ice.
Right. That's almost it is unbelievable. I know that my husband's family they did that, and they did that from the Hudson River, and they would. That's what you did, and then you stored it in straw and covered it up because you needed to be able to have it in the middle of summer when there was no ice. And how did that happen? And then the name Icebox. It was an icebox growing up, even though, of course, at that point there was electricity, but everyone still called it an icebox.
Yep.
I said that the other day, and our grandson Trey, he was like, "What, Gammy?" What? And I went, the refrigerator. Yeah. The refrigerator. Yep. What? He's like, "Why do you call that an icebox?" And I went, "Oh,
yep.
Okay, I'm not that old, but I really love walking through there. I feel like it, in this pace, and I think every generation has said, "Wow, this pace is so crazy from when we were younger or what have you." But really, the pace is at this. I mean, information goes at a millisecond, and I think it's really refreshing, and I think it feeds your soul to be able to go to a place to just kind of. Where you slow it down and you can see a process, and it's not so fast at a blink of an eye.
Things were much simpler.
Yeah, that you have to record it and look it back at it, kind of a thing. I always love that.
Things were much simpler.
I love that. So speaking of Grandstand, let's talk about the entertainment there. I know we made the announcement that Kane Brown was coming, and that show is sold out. Yes, that didn't take long to sell out, right?
No. We've been having entertainment at the fair for a long time at the Grandstand, and once upon a time it was free, and there was 2 shows a day, and we are now 2 paid shows, and they're only once a day. And Kane Brown, to be perfectly honest, fell in our lap because we will start in September, 3 weeks after the fair closes.
Wow!
To get entertainment lined up for the following year. It's not, you just don't pick up the phone and call your agent and say, "Hey, I want to sign that guy for the fair next year." It doesn't work that way.
Right.
It depends on their route and if they're going to be on the East Coast, the West Coast, how close they are, the whole 9 yards. If they're on tour with somebody, if the guy that's the leader of the tour will let them out to go play a sideshow.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of variables that go into that. And he wasn't even on our radar until the end of February, first week of March. And all of a sudden, he was going to be on the East Coast, and the date was open. And, I try to stay up on these things, but I can't keep up with everything I'm doing. And the office staff said, "There's this guy that's available, and we really think that we should look at him." I said, "Oh, okay." So we made an offer, and we hooked him. We caught lightning in a bottle. So it's the first concert we have ever had that sold out online, and it sold out in 6 days. Now, granted, we only have 3,760 seats that we sell, and everybody says, "Oh my God, that's a lot." That's nothing compared to some venues that have 10,000, 15,000 seats. So for us to sell out that in 6 days, that was wow,
Right.
So we're excited. We've made arrangements to handle, we're assuming we're going to have a very big night.
Yeah.
So we're just excited to have him. I understand he's selling out everywhere he's going. They tell me that he puts on a great show. So we're happy to have him.
And you got Chris Lane.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'm focused on the country, which is not fair, but that's my first love. So that's who I know that's not all you have, but you have Chris Lane and Kip Moore.
Yes. Kip Moore's on Friday night.
Yeah.
And as of this morning, there was still, I think, about 200 seats left.
Okay.
So he's almost sold out.
Okay.
Chris Lane is on Thursday night, and there are tickets still available for him as well. Okay. And you can buy them online or walk up the night of.
Okay, so Tuesday is...
The Wallflowers.
Yes, right.
Tuesday is the Wallflowers. There are tickets available for that as well. We try to do variety.
Yeah.
Because not everybody likes the same stuff.
Right.
And we talked to a bunch of different artists this year, classic rock and alternative and this, that. And this is what we could get booked.
I think that's great. I love them. I think that's great. Now, who's on Wednesdays?
Wednesday's
Kane Brown.
Yep.
And then Chris Lane and then Kip Moore.
Yep.
Now, at the Grandstand on the weekend, what's going on then?
So Saturday, there will not be headline music entertainment. We are having, it's headline to us because it's local. The Little Creek Band will play Saturday night. It will be a free concert on a racetrack. And on Sunday, we are going to have a Lumberjack Competition, which is something we've never had before. So we're going to do that in front of the grandstand, and that'll go. I think we're going to start at 10:30 on Sunday morning with that, and it'll go until 5 in the afternoon.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So we've never done it before, and we thought, well, let's try it. It should be fun. We did have the Lumberjacks with us during the outdoor show in May,
Right.
and they did a great job. And it's not something that you would typically see here in our area. If you go upstate New York, it's a big thing to see a lumberjack show. They do them quite often, but here not so much. So we thought, well,
So
let's try
that's cool.
that. Yep.
Yeah, because you bring something that people don't often get to see. Like this is not something to be like, if I miss this, it's next month.
Yeah.
No, not really.
No.
If you miss it, you miss it. Yep. So let's not do that.
Yep.
So we have about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
So I want to make sure. I love this. I mean, everything about the fair I absolutely love. Is there anything, for people that are coming to the fair, if families are coming to the fair, any changes in anything that people need to be aware of, or security checks so that people are like, the ones that make the list, they know they've got it?
Yep. So all of our gates starting last year we used to do random bag checks. All of our gates are now mandatory bag checks.
Okay.
So there's security guards and police officers at every gate for the safety of all of our patrons. Every bag gets searched.
Right.
All of our guys have gone through class to be educated on how to do all of that, what to look for. We want our patrons to feel safe when they're on our property with their families, and we thought that was the best thing to do. I went to a Yankee game, and you don't go in anymore without getting searched or going through the metal detector or whatever it is they've got down there.
Right.
I hope we never have to get to that point, but we want our patrons to be safe, so we're going to do that. As always, there are security guards, state police, sheriff's deputies on the grounds 24 hours a day, making sure that everybody's safe. Now,
I know, as I mentioned, this show is pre-recorded, so the time that we are recording this, it's a Tuesday. Are discount tickets still available online, and when's the cutoff for that?
Yes, online tickets can be bought all the way through the fair.
Okay.
And if you walk up to a gate fair week and there's a line, you can pull out your smartphone and purchase them right there and not have to stand in line and go straight through and get scanned at the back door.
Nice.
Pre-sale tickets at stores like the Williams Lumber Outlets and the grocery stores and Adams and all those things, they will stop being sold on Sunday night before the fair at midnight.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know, because a lot of times people will ask us and I'm like, I don't know. Let me find that out for you. I love that. That's brilliant. If there's a line, get your phone out, buy them, boom, and then that's great.
Yep. And you're
so
in.
That's very powerful.
Okay.
So we have a minute and a half left.
Okay.
Andy, is there any closing comments, final thoughts that you want to leave with folks?
Sure. I hope that whoever's coming to the fair comes and has a great time. If you don't have a family tradition, I hope you start one.
Yeah.
I hope you take the time to look at the fair and understand, after listening to this conversation, what the fair is really about. And you can pass it on to your family. So it's really a labor of love. It's a lot of work, but I enjoy it immensely.
Yeah, you can tell. And it is a labor of love. And I feel like when you go there, you feel part of the community. Like you feel the memories that are made there, the moments that are made there.
Yep.
Like I said, I go back to the first time I was there when I moved here, and it was like a county fair that I had always read about in all the stories that I read growing up. Yep. And I thought, someone did it. Yep. They did the county fair the way that I always dreamed it would be. So,
thank you.
Andy, thank you very much for taking the time, especially right before Fair Week.
Yep.
Good Lord. Thank you.
Well, after 24 years, it's kind of old hat, Beth. I just go with the flow.
Thank you very, very much. The website is duchessfair.com.
Yep.
So you can go there, you can get information, you can get the schedule, you can get your tickets. Keep that in mind. And it starts on Tuesday.
Yep, 21st.
And runs through the 26th.
Yes.
All right, Andy, thank you very much.
Thanks, Beth.
Thanks to all of you. Hopefully there's something you've learned this morning. If you have any questions about anything we talked about, whichever station you're listening to, just go to that station's website. And in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a little search thing. Just put in touch. This show will come up. We will have an article around the show, and we'll have all that information for you. If you'd like to be on the program, we'd love to have you here. Here's how you can get a hold of me. Call me 845-471-1500. My extension is 159. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and you can email me, beth.christie@townsquaremedia.com. But, we hope to see you at the fair. You don't want to miss it. Start a new family tradition if you haven't been there yet. Take care of yourself and those you love, and we'll see you right here next week.